Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another feature match commentary on the channel today. So this is going to be both the top 4 and the finals feature matches from the 8th edition of my online Discord tournament. I do want to be wrapping this tournament up pretty fast here because of course I want to move on and feature the matches from the 9th edition of this tournament, which is the one that's currently ongoing. And also, not gonna lie, I've currently been a little bit bored of this format, which is kind of why I haven't been uploading recently, and I do want to apologize for that. But with Lightning Overdrive coming around the corner and the ban list next month, hopefully, that should shake things up a bit. So it's got my interest back in the game a bit here, so that should be pretty good. So be sure to stay tuned if you want to see updates and revamps to older series, as well as new ones that I'm going to be implementing that I've been working on in the background here. But as usual, if you do want to check out the Discord server to find out information on this tournament, as well as sign up for the next one, be sure to check that out in the description box below as per usual. And I'm going to go ahead and cover each of these matches individually since we have 3 of them to go over. So this is the first top 4 feature match between Kinda Sleepy on Dinosaur versus Pumafall on Dogmatic Spellbook. So let's get started without any further ado. Looks like Dinosaur won the RPS here, and so they're going to be choosing to actually go second, which is not really too surprising. The opening hand for Dogmatic Spellbook going first is going to be Ash, Double Nadir Servant, Ecclesia, and Maximus. So we kind of saw this in the previous feature match where sometimes there's hands where you draw all Dogmatic cards and no spellbooks, but hand is by no means bad. Has a hand trap as well as good starter cards, so it's fair enough. And then the opening hand for Dino going second is going to be Archosaur, Ash Blossom, Overraptor, Fossil Dig, and Lost World. Again, keep in mind this is pre-Lightning Overdrive, so just want to make that very clear. But their hand is pretty good as well. There's Ash Blossom here as well as a couple of very solid Dino cards, so not much to complain about there. We are going to see the Spellbook Dogmatica player start things out with a normal summon of Ecclesia, and then activating her effect that will actually fetch the Ash Blossom, so holding the Servant for this point, which will send App Clone for a copy of Fleur-de-Lis. And then that triggers the App Clone as well, which is going to grab Schism and then send to the graveyard this the same Schism, because they do have Maximus already. So they're going to banish the App Clone here and then use the Maximus effect. That's going to go and send Titaniclad and Construct, and they're going to send Shakanine and Omega. So they're playing Zoo cards here, which is pretty interesting. Maybe there's Triple Tactics Talent, which could definitely be a nice way to, I guess, take control of like opposing Tridents. But Construct is going to add back the Schism. Also, I actually haven't watched any of these matches just because I haven't really gotten the chance to go through them. So this should be pretty exciting because I'm actually basically commentating blind here. But Schism is going to be set, and then that's going to be the end of that. Titaniclad is going to trigger the end phase for another copy of Ecclesia for next turn. And then going to pass in this. They're going to draw Gamma for turn. So depending on when this could be used, it could be good. I guess perhaps a Ash on Misk could fetch out the Gamma. So we are going to see Omega on Construct. They're going to chain the Schism in response. So that's going to go and banish those 2 to summon out the Winda. I'm actually not sure if Omega still returns to the extra. I'd have to read Omega again. Okay, let's actually see this. All right, so it says you could target one other card in the graveyard, shuffle both that card and this card. Okay, yeah, so it has to shuffle both of them. So if one of the targets actually leaves, then it actually doesn't return. So yeah, that is correct there. So yeah, it looks like we are going to see Fossil Dig being activated after Lost World comes down, so that's going to grab Miscellaneousaurus. And then from here, going to normal summon the Overraptor. And then we're going to see Fleur-de-Lis being chained as Chainlink 3, because it was Overraptor Chainlink 1, Lost World Chainlink 2. And then Miscellaneousaurus going to be Chainlink 3. And then going to summon a token to the opponent's board. And then the Overview resolves for a copy of Baby. So they didn't even go for Gamma. I mean, obviously, because Wind is up. So yeah, this makes a lot more sense. They're just going to attack over Winda here since Lost World's going to be decreasing it. So Battle Phase is going to attack over Winda, and then in main phase 2, going to use Overraptor's second effect. That's going to attempt to pop the token, and then they're going to Lost World protect it. So that's going to pop Baby, and then Baby effect is going to summon a copy of Archosaur, and then Archosaur is going to go and pop the Baby in hand for a copy of Double Evolution Pill, and then Baby in grave is going to summon a copy of Miscellaneousaurus, and they're going to overlay for Evil Zardolka, and then they actually even haven't used Misk yet, so they're in a pretty good spot. Gonna go for Almirage, which, yeah, can't be done since this wasn't normal summoned. I'm gonna go for Link Rebo instead. Interesting that they are even playing Almirage here. But Evolution Pill is going to be coming down next. That's going to summon out a copy of the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Ash kind of being a bit not as good considering the fact that Dolk is on field. And then they're going to Misk for 2. That's going to go and summon a copy of Petit Pteranodon. That way it's going to get popped and summon up Pankratops, I assume. End phase is going to resolve it and then go for the Pankratops off that. So this is a pretty solid board for sure. Has 4 interruptions at minimum. We are going to see the top decked Spellbook Library of the Crescent from the Spellbook player. So if you have no Spellbook spells in your graveyard, you can reveal 3 with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly adds 1 to their hand and then shuffle the rest back into the deck. And then it's a hard once per turn, and you're locked into Spellbook spell cards for the entire turn, not the rest of the turn. So these two definitely are actually conflicting right now. But this could be good if they value their Spellbook engine, which I imagine they do. It's a Spellbook tech. So we are going to go ahead and, see a Link Summon of Nightmare Phoenix. And then Phoenix Effect is going to go and pitch the library. Never mind, I totally lied. They are going to just stick with the Dogmatica stuff they have currently, which is also fair. They're going to pop Lost World. And that's actually just going to be a concession. So yeah, not choosing to use Dolka there, preserving it. And I guess it makes sense because the negations were going to be used on likely the Maximus and then the Ecclesia that was known off the Titanic Cloud last turn. So fair enough, that's going to be the end of game 1. So we're now going to move into game number 2 here, where it looks like the Dino player is going to be forced to go first. And their opening hand going first is going to be Baby Ceratosaurus, Forbidden Droplet, Ash, Conductor Tyranno, and Archosaur. So hand definitely is good enough to combo off here. And they also have Droplet and Ash, which is nice as well. And then the opening hand for Spellbook going second is going to be Maximus, Spellbook of Secrets, Evenly, Schism, and the Blue Boy, aka Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Definitely a solid hand for sure. Evenly is a pretty interesting choice. I wonder how impactful it's going to be here. Depends on how big of a board that they set up. But seems pretty reasonable. Blue Boy plus other Spellbook cards seems pretty good, especially Secrets. We are going to see an almost summon of Archosaur. That effect is going to go and pop Baby to add a copy of Pill to hand. And then Baby's going to activate to summon a copy of Overraptor from deck. And then Overraptor triggers for a Miscellaneous Source from deck to hand. And then they're going to link off for Amirage this time. That summon is legal. And then they're going to go for Miscellaneous Source hand effect, followed by the Grave effect, which will summon a copy of Baby from deck. And then from here, Overraptor is going to pop the Baby on field to summon back the one from the graveyard, which triggers the one in the graveyard to summon a copy of Miscellaneous Source. And then they're going to overlay for Shakanine. So they're just hard making Shakanine. So they're definitely playing Trident here at least. That's pretty interesting that they're going for this over something like a Logia. I do wonder why that might be the case. But that's a pretty interesting sort of pivot. Maybe it's because it's, I guess, freer to activate to detach and put Misk in grave for next turn. They also chose not to commit for Pill. Like, they didn't go secure Gardner and then go Pill for a big Dino. So that actually helps to play around the evenly more. But we are going to stay top deck Crow for turn. A little bit late for that, for sure. Whoops. They're going to go Battle Phase and fire off this evenly. And then they're going to chain Amirage to protect Trident, which means that they're going to keep the Trident. Makes sense. They're going to go main phase 2, normal summon the Blue Boy, and then use the effect for a copy of Master, which basically lets you copy a spellbook. They're going to go for Artemis here, and then they're going to activate the copy of Secrets in their hand for a Knowledge. And then they're going to activate Master, which will reveal the Knowledge, and then copy Secrets. So that's going to add a copy of Fate. And then they're going to Knowledge away, looks like this Artemis. They're going to chain Trident in response to pop the Artemis. They're going to chain the Fate in response to that. That's going to Book of Moon this Trident. And then the chain resolves, so Knowledge is going to send away Fate to draw 2. Yeah, I guess you might as well activate it if you are going to be sending it away, since Trident's going to pop the Spellcaster on field. So that makes sense. Going to draw into Life and Deity Crow. Yeah, Trident popped Artemis, and then they sent Fate for Knowledge because it's still on the field when it resolves. Yeah, so that's what happened there. And then Maximus is going to go ahead and activate. That's going to banish the Artemis from Graveyard. And then the effect of Maximus on field is going to activate, sending Entis and Abclone, and then they're going to send Logia and Omega. So yeah, they did choose to just go for Trident over Logia, which is pretty notable. But we're going to see the Entis pop the Trident, and then no effective Abclone since Schism was already in hand. and then they're just going to pass. We are going to see double evolution pill drawn for turn. That's not ideal. They're a little bit low on dino cards here. Standby main phase 1. Looks like Omega on Apco is going to be activated. They're going to chain DD Crow to banish the Omega. Or banish the Omega, excuse me. And then we're going to go ahead and just straight up hard summon UCT from hand by banishing 2. And then Schism is going to be flipped. That's going to go and banish away the App Clone and the Entis for Construct. And then going to send away the UCT right here. And then on Resolution, DD Crow is going to fire off, banishing the Misk, which is definitely pretty strong. So the only play left is obviously UCT by banishing the pill by banishing UCT. So going to go ahead and banish those two for another copy of UCT. And then they are going to go ahead and activate its effect. That's going to book the Construct and the Maximus, since Construct would just destroy the UCT. So going to go to battle phase and then clear the board here. So this is like fine, but I think Spellbook looks pretty favored here as long as they draw anything relevant. They also do have access to Winda still. I doubt they play 2 Construct. If they did, then they could out this. But yeah, Winda wouldn't really do much against UCTs, so I guess they actually need more of their engine. We're going to see, ooh, that is the opposite of their engine. It's another copy of a evenly matched, so not going to be doing much here. Going to pass, and then they're going to draw Gamma for turn. So both players kind of on low resources. They're going to attack for 35. Obviously, Dino being favored with the monster. But we see a Spellbook Vision of Prophecy being drawn for turn, which is quite nice. They're going to normal summon him and then use the effect. That's going to grab a copy of Secrets from deck to hand. And then they're going to activate the Secrets. That is going to grab a copy of Fate. So looks like Life is going to be activated. That's going to reveal the Fate and then banish Blue Boy to bring back Maximus. They're then going to chain Fate, so that's going to banish 3 to non-target banish 1 card your opponent controls. I just had to make sure it was a card your opponent controls, not just on the field in general, because that would be unfortunate if like this could pop itself and then you have to banish one of your own cards. But yeah, no, it only banishes your opponent's stuff. But they are going to chain it, of course, popping itself and then booking the Blue Boy, which may come up if this is able to be flipped up later. Because Spellbook players book their own Blue Boy face down all the time with their own fates. So that definitely could be relevant. Not an interaction I really thought of, but could come up. We are going to see Maximus, though, come back. So this is going to be decent. It's not going to be amazing, but it does help accelerate the Dogmatica engine, if not for this Gamma. So Gamma is going to dispatch of that. And then they're just going to go ahead and proceed to end phase and then pass. So choosing not to go for a Schism play here. We're going to see Overraptor drawn for turn. That is really, really solid. So they're going to go ahead and activate Pill. That's going to banish the UCT and the Amirage. So banishing both of these means that they're not going to get access to them anymore. Because this one actually was properly summoned, the first UCT. So it technically could have been brought back with the Overraptor, but not the second one that was just banished. But that would have been interesting if that came up. We are going to see Pancratops being summoned off this Pill here. And then we're going to see Overraptor being normal summoned. A little bit surprised, actually, they didn't use Schism, since you can reasonably infer that the target for this Pill is not going to be like a third UCT. It's going to be Pancratops, most likely. So could have maybe gotten some usage out of Schism prior. I mean, it probably wouldn't have mattered, but I don't know. It might be the little things that count, you know? Especially since they're on only 2,500. And actually, that could matter, having that extra blocker there. But Miscellaneous Source is going to be added to hand, and then it's going to go straight to battle phase. They're going to flip up the Blue Boy, which will search for secrets, but this is actually just game right here. So, yeah, going to go ahead and be a 2-0 victory for Dino. I think it might have been worth it as well to just try and end a main phase, use Schism. I assume Winda is still in the extra deck there. So could have at least maybe tried. I mean, it will, even if it pops or fetches the Pancratops pop, they still have to at least commit a little bit harder. You could like misk, you can misk for 1, but this summons back in defense though, doesn't it? I'm not sure if there was a line to go for game there in that case. Maybe it would have denied them the OTK, but regardless, it would have been. Actually, that could have changed the game. And now I'm thinking about it a bit more. So it's a little bit surprising they didn't at least try to go for Schism at the end of main phase here. But yeah, regardless, it looks like Dino is going to be moving on to the finals here. So let's move to the other top 4 matchup, which is going to be Aerosol TCG versus Grand Soil, and both of them are on Earth Machines, and both of them know each other, so this is a pretty funny top 4 matchup here. We'll be linking Aerosol's YouTube channel in the description as usual, but this is the Earth Machine Mirror Match semifinals. So it looks like Grand Soil won the RPS, and going to be choosing to go first here. I do believe they speak a little bit of German in the chat. I think it's German. I'm not 100% sure. But you guys can let me know in the comments. But anyways, the opening hand for Grand Soil is going to be Trap Trick, Ash, Harvester, Droplet, and Redeployment. So really solid hand for sure. Has multiple starters, a couple of defensive go second cards, and Trap Trick as well, which is quite good for like Overdrive or like Ice Dragon's Prison, Torrential Tribute, stuff like that. And then Aerosol's hand contains Citadel, Harvester, Urgent Schedule, Redeployment, and Ancient Gearbox, the lovely brick. So has Urgent Schedule for going second, which is pretty solid. This card's always like kind of hit or miss, because obviously it's an amazing card, but when you're going first, it doesn't do anything. But in situations like this, it could be very strong indeed. So we're going to see Grand Soil normal summon a copy of Harvester, and then use the effect for a copy of Dozer. And then they're going to activate the Dozer. That's going to tribute away the Harvester, summoning itself to the field. And then going to use the Dozer on field effect for a copy of Trencher. This is pretty standard. This is just a 1-card combo. Going to go for River Stormer, and then detach the Trencher for a copy of Bullet Train. And then they're going to go ahead and activate the Bullet Train, special summon itself. And then going to go and link away for a copy of Goliath. And then link those off for a copy of the Ballista, which will add a copy of the Gearbox. And then Box Effect is going to go and search for a copy of probably Tunneler. So choosing to hold Redeployment, probably until after Tunneler effect at this rate. They're going to go for Tunneler here. And by that I mean the Graveyard effect of Tunneler. Like seeing what they draw first. But yeah, Tunneler is going to hit the board, and then it's going to turn into a copy of Goliath. And then they're going to banish to bring back the Harvester. And then going to turn that into the 3rd copy of Goliath. And then going to turn those 2 into a copy of the Anger Knuckle. And then going to go for the Tunneler effect. That's going to recycle all of the Link monsters plus Harvester. Shuffling those back and then drawing 2 cards. And those are going to be Citadel and Heavy Forward. That's quite solid, because now that means that Redeployment can pitch the Citadel for like Overdrive plus probably Fortress, I would assume. And then you can like Trap Trick into a different trap. So that's good on them holding this copy of Redeployment there. They're going to activate it, pitching the Citadel. That's going to search for Overdrive and a copy of Fortress. Yeah, I imagine you don't search Metal Cruncher. I mean, you could, but I imagine you go Fortress first. And then they're going to go and set 3, and then end phase going to go for Dozer as the add back off of this Bullet Train. So overall, really solid for sure. This is like probably the optimal setup. You're close to it. We are going to see Trencher being drawn for turn. So Redeployment's going to be the first card activated. That's going to pitch Citadel, so this is very much a mirror. Going to search for Overdrive and Fortress. Choosing not to go for Metal Cruncher, which, yeah, makes sense, because you have to control no cards to summon Metal Cruncher without tributing. But they obviously want to resolve this Urgent Schedule. But that is going to get ashed, which is big unfortunate. We are going to see an normal summon of Harvester, so again, like they have multiple copies of their, or multiple ways to access their starter anyways. So we're going to go for Brutadozer here, and then going to pitch the Fortress and the Trencher to summon out the Fortress. And then here you can go for a rank 9 play by modulating and then going for like Enter Blathnir. That could be decent. Grand Solar choosing to hold on his interruptions. They're going to level modulate and then go for Earth Slicer. Alright, so choosing to go for this over Enter Blathnir. This does deal with more cards. On summon, it looks like Anger Knuckle is going to activate, sending away Box to bring back the Bullet Train. And then Overdrive going to pop the Bullet Train for a copy of Metal Cruncher, which triggers the Citadel and Graveyard. And then Cruncher as well gets to activate on summon, of course. So going to pick 3, and then adds 1 to hand. It's another copy of Metal Cruncher. I mean, at worst, it's pitch fodder for the Machina Fortress, so it's fine. Trap Trick is going to be activated now, so that's going to go for IDP. Yeah, and getting rid of either Trencher or Earth Slicer is quite devastating here. I imagine you get rid of the Trencher in this case. Yeah, oh, that's going to be a concession right there. Yeah, fair enough. Pretty hard to fight through that board for sure. It was Vigeki plus Ash plus I believe there was Droplet as well, like Droplet and the Trap Trick. So yeah, lots of interruptions for sure. So we're going to move now into game number 2 of this match, and it looks like Aerosol is going to choose to go first in game 2. Really nothing too surprising there. His opening hand is going to contain a copy of Citadel, Brutodozer, Nibiru, Bullet Train, and another copy of Metal Cruncher. So hand is definitely good. Definitely a good hand. And the opening hand for Grand Soil going second is going to be Urgent Schedule, IDP, Overdrive, Lancia, and Trencher. Lancia is pretty interesting in this matchup. It does deny the big payoff in Tunneler. Plus Trencher is a pretty valued extender. It's like needed a lot of the time to get you to where you want to go. So this is actually a pretty decent hand trap. It won't stop like a lot of your opponent's like early plays, but it definitely can derail their end point, which is pretty good because their end goal is to just amass a lot of resources, and if you can curtail that even a little bit, then it's not too bad. But we are going to see a normal summon a Metal Cruncher. That's going to go ahead and reveal Fortress, Dairy Crane, and Trencher. Going to pick up a copy of Fortress off of those. And then going to special summon out Bullet Train, and then go for Dozer, tributing the Metal Cruncher. That's going to summon itself to the board, and then the effect is going to bring out a copy of Trencher from deck. And then those two are going to be overlaid for River Stormer. And then Stormer can be used to search. You could go for Tunneler here, but that could also be searched by Box. So this could search like Dairy Crane. Curious as to what the ad's going to be here. It is going to be Dairy Crane, all right. So going to go ahead and link that away for a copy of Goliath. And then those two are going to be linked off for a copy of Ballista. Ballista effect is going to go and search a copy of Ancient Gear Box. And then Box effect is going to grab, I imagine, the Tunneler, almost a Trencher. And then going to go ahead and activate Lancia here. Yeah, that's a pretty disciplined Lancia. Not choosing to drop it like as soon as Trencher hits the grave because, there's not really a point to doing it since they don't normally use Trencher that early. So it's good to hold off there until like the Tunneler is actually added, just to kind of nullify that resource a little bit. But you're going to see the Fortress summon itself by pitching itself plus Box. And then going to go and tribute away the Ballista for this copy of River Stormer. And then they're going to go for Goliath, and then going to link summon a copy of Anger Knuckle. And the Anger Knuckle is going to pitch the Tunneler to summon back this copy of Bullet Train, which triggers a Dairy Crane. So they can at the very least end on the Super Dora with the Dairy Crane pop, which is not horrible. And they're just going to pass on this. So this plus Nibiru is pretty decent. Gonna go ahead and end phase activate Dora to get the Bullet Train engrave and add back the Brutodozer off that effect. And then gonna pass. We are gonna see a top deck Ash for turn, a little bit late. Urgent Schedule gonna come down first. That's gonna summon out a copy of the Harvester plus the Machina Citadel. And then going to go and Lake Summon away for a copy of Goliath. And then Trencher is gonna activate in hand. That's gonna tribute away the Citadel to summon itself. And then that's gonna turn into another copy of Goliath. And then Trencher going to bring back Harvester, which activates the Harvester effect. So that's going to grab Brutodozer. Yep. So if that Urgent Schedule didn't resolve, if there was Nash in his hand, then that would have been the only real way to get to the engine. So definitely pretty solid. As far as the Lancia stopping potentially drawing the answer to the Urgent Schedule. But we are going to see a link summon of a copy of Ballista, which will be used to search for a Box. And then Box effect is going to activate for a copy of Anchor Drill. We have not normal summons, so this is a pretty good get. Going to go for Anchor Drill here. That's going to go and summon out the Box. So going to go for probably a rank 8 play. Nibiru is going to come down here. So that's going to go and be met with a their own Anger Knuckle. So that's going to target Bullet Train. And then Super Dora going to be chilling 3. Going to go and bring back this copy of Bullet Train. And then Nibiru is going to tribute the board, except for, of course, the Super Dora. And then they did calculate the stats here. And then Dairy Crane can pop this token as well. Giving them the gear token, I like that. I guess they missed Dairy Crane here to pop the token. Unless if I am missing something, the chain resolves, and then in a new chain, Dairy Crane will activate. Yeah, I think they actually just missed Dairy Crane here. But we are going to see a set 2 and then pass. Bullet Train in the end phase is going to add back this copy of Box. And then Box is going to activate to add a copy of Anchor Drill from deck to hand. And then we're going to see a pass. Top deck is going to be Overdrive. which will be good if the game goes late, but it shouldn't go late here. Well, actually it could. Overdrive plus IDP plus Ash is decent. I mean, Overdrive is a bit dead right now, to be fair. I wonder if there's a world in which you Ice Dragon's Prison and like not banish something just so you can make your Overdrive live. That could be an interesting play. I don't know if that'd be the best play, but it's something to consider. Because that would turn on the Citadel as well, and it might actually be worth it to do that. I do wonder. Because the IDP is optional to banish. But we are going to see Overdrive being pitched away for Knuckle, so that's going to get that into the graveyard. And then going to normal summon the Anchor Drill. That's going to activate for the box. And then they're going to Level Modulate here. And then Grand Solar choosing to let this go. So going to go for Dingirsu, which obviously is going to send here. And that's going to send away the Overdrive. Wow, so taking that chance there. I think that was maybe a little bit risky, but it paid off because IDP is still alive. So that's fair. Overdrive going to be used from Grand Soil right here. So trying to draw into a hand trap, I assume. So going to recycle and then draw another copy of Ash. Well, they did draw a hand trap, but not a usable one this turn. Or not an additional usable one, I should say. Going to go and pitch Citadel for Fortress. And then going to link off for the BLS link. That's pretty interesting. I think this token has big defense, though. So I'm not sure if the BLS is going to get a lot of value here, besides just being untargetable. And indestructible, of course. But I think that if you're playing the mirror match, it should be relatively easy out this if like you're not using it to gain 15. But even still, there's like access to Super Dora. It still might be good enough, though, for sure. Tunneler going to go ahead and target all the links and box as well as Derek Crane, but that's going to be Ashed. So solid Ash right there. It's going to matter quite a bit. Overdrive going to put back Ballista, Box, and Tunneler. That's going to draw Call by the Grave. Ooh, that would have been useful before, huh? That's a bit unfortunate. So going to go for the Juggernaut Libe, and then Libe effect is going to go ahead and boost itself. So we're just going to attack with the token here. IDP going to be used to banish Citadel and the Juggernaut Libe. So Aristole's board actually doesn't look that strong here. We still can go for Dozer if I'm not mistaken. He might choose to leave it here. It's possible. I mean, he could get back access to Tunneler, but he already used it earlier this turn, so I'm not sure how good that is. Yeah, we'll have to see. He's going to go for Tunneler here. That's going to bring back the Anchor Drill, and then going to go for Goliath. Okay, so this allows him to go for Stormer, Tribute Goliath, and then Goliath Attach. And then that can search something else. I'm not sure what you get here, though. Maybe just get like a Cruncher so you have more fodder for Fortress. Yeah, we'll have to see. These are the spots that get a bit tricky to navigate. Yeah, I'm going to go with Stormer, Tribute away Goliath, and then Goliath Attach. And then activate the effect. That's going to add, yeah, Metal Cruncher. I figured there's like not much you really want to add at this point. I guess you could have added a Trencher. We also can get Trencher access off of Dozer if you want. But yeah, I'm going to go and tribute away the Stormer. Yeah, so this makes more sense doing it this way because you want to keep the Anger Knuckle, of course, on the field since it's just more resources. And then going to go and bring out the Tunneler from deck using the Dozer effect. It says could have gone for Slicer. Interesting. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there was a world in which I guess you could go like Anchor Drill plus one of the level 5s. I mean, Dozer was in hand the entire time, so like maybe could have level modulate. Go for a 9. That would have been a good way to deal with the Nib token, but the Nib token is pretty big. Not going to be enough to end the game by itself, though. Gonna go and pass in this. I don't think Bullet Train left and then re-enter the grave this turn, so I don't think it was able to be activated. Nibiru are going to be the top deck. That would have been nice to have drawn that off of the Overdrive last turn and then draw another copy of Ash this turn. That would have been the ideal order to do that. But yeah, no Earth Machines here, so it's going to go and switch this token to attack position. And then main phase is going to use Anger Knuckle to bring back Bullet Train, of course. And then battle phase is going to attack over the BLS link. This should not be too hard for Aerosol to out. Should be pretty easy. Gonna take 38 here, and then gonna pass. The question is if he can do it while still playing around Nib, plus the Ash as well here. But of course, there's callback for Ash. Heavy forward gonna be the top deck, so that's gonna make things a little bit easier. I wonder if he has a way into Slicer here, because he doesn't have Trencher to bring back like Anchor Drill, so he's gonna have to do this a little bit different. He does, of course, have Stormer to access it though, so it's not a big deal. Gonna go for Ballista, and then Ballista effect is gonna go ahead and be used. It's gonna go for the box, and then box effect. I think this can add Trencher. Yeah, it's gonna add Trencher anyway, so there's like many ways to get there. Yeah, gonna go for Trencher here, and then gonna go and Tunneler to recycle. Gonna be Ashed, and then probably gonna chain Call by, or not. Saving this for something else. All right, fair enough. I guess like you don't need your Tunneler to resolve. So you might as well like hold it if you're afraid of some other hand trap. But gonna go for heavy forward here. That's gonna go for Harvester, and then they're gonna go and activate Ballista. That's gonna make the token 0. Everyone forgets about the other effect of this card, but yeah, you can target one spell and trap you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Destroy that card you control, and if you do, you can change that opponent's monster's attack and defense to 0 until the end of the turn. So that's definitely relevant because heavy forward definitely can be lingering at times. Like this card's like a nice resource to have just on board because like its own effect to like attach or switch battle positions to like enable Zeus, or you can like just use it as fodder for stuff like this. So definitely solid. It's like also fodder potentially for like Anger Knuckle. So yeah, definitely a good card to just have like as a continuous spell card. But gonna go and Harvester, add the Bulldozer, and then gonna pitch 2 for the Fortress. And then gonna go for Harvester. That's gonna bump the levels to 9. And then gonna go for Ender Blathnier. And the Ender Blathnier effect is gonna rip from the hand. And then gonna take the Dozer. Wow, he didn't bite with the nib. Wow, this Grand Soil has no fear. He has literally no fear whatsoever. You know what? I can definitely respect that. So yeah, Nib's still alive. That's crazy. I guess we were always taking the 50-50, huh? Gonna go for Fortress here. That was pitching the Metal Cruncher, I believe, there. Battle phase Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh wow, what it says he's always taking the 50-50. That's funny. So 95-41. It says, but why? Yeah, that's pretty brave. I would definitely not have done that. But you know what? He was rewarded for it. Gonna go for Anchor Drill though, off the Trencher, and then gonna summon out Dozer off of this. And then you just want to see if Trencher was used. It was not. That was a Trencher from last turn. Because that was used to get fodder out for this Stormer from last turn. It has been a long game though, for sure. Gonna go for Slicer, and what do you know? Slicer is big enough to beat over Nib. Too much stuff happened. Not sure about Trencher. Started by linking into Ballista, then Harvester, then Fortress, Ender Blathnier, and then Fortress was 5th summon. Okay. Not gonna backcheck this, but it sounds like that's the order of which things happened. Gonna go for the effect of Earth Slicer. So when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can attach that monster to it as material. That's the effect of all of the Infinite Track Exceeds monsters. It, Stormer, and the one that nobody plays, which is Mountain Smasher. Yeah, Mountain Smasher is just a sad card. Definitely don't read that one. Gonna go for Zeus in main phase 2. And then end phase, gonna go for Bullet Train to add back Metal Cruncher. That's interesting. It's not adding back Dozer. I guess it makes sense. There's like no Earth Machines on field right now. And this is just fodder for Fortress, as we've seen. So that's cool. We are gonna see the top deck being Bullet Train. That's gonna do not very much. And then gonna go into game 3. So game 3 of this enthralling mirror match. Granto is gonna choose to go first here. And his opening hand is going to be Overdrive, Droplet, Harvester, Metal Cruncher, and Bullet Train. So, it's starters plus an extender, actually, which is conducive to making a bit of a better ending board, consisting of potentially a Super Dora. And hard drawn Overdrive is always nice. The opening hand, though, for Aerosol going second is going to be Metal Cruncher, Harpy's Feather Duster, Bulldozer, Ash, and Metal Cruncher. So I'm curious as to when he's going to choose to Ash here. Some people Ash the Dozer, some people Ash the the Tunneler. Some people ash the Ballista, which I've seen be pretty effective at times. So curious as to when he's going to drop it, because he knows this deck, of course, very well. But yeah, both players opened up well, pretty much all 3 games. We're going to see Metal Cruncher being the normal summon, so that's going to go and reveal 3 copies of Dozer, and then add 1 to hand. And then going to use the Dozer next, that's going to go and tribute the Metal Cruncher, summoning itself, and then Dozer effect is going to summon nothing, because he's going to fire off the Ash right here. So, fair enough. I think that's one I would personally ash, because it does cut off the most resources, I feel. But he already has Bullet Train, so there's the extend that was needed. There's not like a ton of extenders in this deck. Like there's Fortress, there's Bullet Train, there's Dairy Crane. But like from that position, it's hard to get into Ballista if you like don't open those specific cards. So yeah, I think that's like a pretty good time to ash. But we are gonna see a Link Summon of Goliath, and then those 2 are gonna be linked away for a copy of the Ballista, and then Ballista effect is gonna grab Box, and then Box is gonna add a Trencher or a Tunneler. You're gonna add Trencher here. Trencher going to be used. That's going to be tributing away the Ballista, summoning itself to the field, and then going to go for the Goliath. And then Trencher going to be bringing back this Dozer. And then those 2 are going to be linked away for a copy of Anger Knuckle. Going to set 2 cards, and then end phase resolve the Bullet Train. That's going to add back this copy of Dozer. So Overdrive plus Droplet is decent. That's pretty good. We're going to see a top deck Nibiru for turn. Nibiru wasn't like super needed, but it would have beaten the Overdrive, because this Feather Duster actually isn't going to get a whole ton of value. Gonna go for Feather Duster, and then they're going to chain, of course, the Anger Knuckle in response, and then going to chain the Overdrive in response to that. Was hoping he had Trap Trick and IDP. Yeah, Trap Trick would have been a good hit there. But yeah, gonna go for Citadel off the Overdrive, and then gonna summon back the Bullet Train with the Anger Knuckle here. Yeah, so still has 1 interruption. It's what would have been like what the interruption would have been off the Overdrive regardless. So this did effectively just trade for the drop with 1 for 1, which is like fine. Gonna go for Metal Cruncher here, and then going to use that to add Dairy Crane, Fortress, and Bullet Train. Picks up a copy of Fortress off of those. And then he's thinking if he wants to fire off his Regeki here. So he's thinking, does Aerosol have a way to actually summon the Fortress? Or actually, no, he doesn't know what was picked up. Actually, is that public knowledge here? I'm not entirely sure. I actually can't remember if that's public knowledge on DB or not. Well, you reveal 3 and then 1 gets randomly added. So I think it's different from something like Lilith, where the cards aren't revealed. I'm pretty sure. I just have to read this real fast. Yeah, so these are revealed. So I'm pretty sure that that is publicly known. Somebody can let me know, because for some reason I'm like drawing a blank on this one, and I'm not entirely sure. But I'm fairly certain the Fortress is known to be Fortress, and not just like one of the other cards that like could have been chosen. So provided that that's the case, I think he's deliberating on like whether or not Aerosol is able to actually summon Fortress, because he can infer that Dozer is in hand, or some way to get there, because it wasn't revealed off of the Metal Cruncher. So I think that's a reasonable assumption. And if that's the case, like if he picked up Fortress and can summon it, then like that's really bad, because then he just goes to the full combo. So I think you just hold off on Citadel here. Yeah, he chooses not to, and then he's going to go for a Dozer off this. And then Dozer is going to go and be used to summon a copy of the Trencher. And then here he's going to choose to go ahead and fire off the Citadel. So it's going to pop itself. So chooses to wait, or not wait for Storm to come down, because he doesn't want that resource engraved, which is definitely fair enough. But yeah, Metal Cruncher is going to be pitched alongside the Fortress to summon itself. It was good they didn't use on Metal Cruncher, yeah, definitely, because as we just mentioned, we just gone Fortress and then Dozer, and that was just the full thing. 1 in 3 chance. So 1 in 3 chance that it was Fortress. So maybe that isn't publicly known. Maybe I'm just completely tripping. Maybe that's possible. Yeah, actually, I don't think it is publicly known, because I'm thinking of like Now I'm thinking to cards such as what is it? What's the card that I'm thinking of? I can't think of another card that randomly adds to hand right now. But I'm sure there's like other examples. No, I think Lilith does reveal. Wait, maybe I'm just like totally messing this up. Lilith, I think, does reveal the 3 traps, but it's also not publicly known to the opponent which one's added. I'm like totally just confused right now for some reason, so if somebody can help me out here, that'd be greatly appreciated. I'm drawing a huge blank right here, but we're gonna carry on. Gonna go ahead and link off this Bulldozer into the Goliath, and then going to go for Ballista. See, you don't play Yu-Gi-Oh for like 1 week, and then this is what happens. You just completely forget how to play the game. Gonna go Ballista and then search a copy of Box, and then Box is gonna be activated for a copy of, I assume, the Tunneler. And then gonna go and fire off this Fortress by pitching 2 from hand, and then gonna link those off for a copy of the Anger Knuckle, and then Tunneler gonna be recycling back a bunch of cards, and then going to go and draw 2. I hope that means Heart of the Cards. That would be pretty fitting here. Draws the other Metal Cruncher as well as Cyclone. Cyclone is not ideal here. Yeah, it's not great. Not a guaranteed interruption, but gonna pass in this. And then we're gonna see a top deck Nibiru from Grand Soil. So a lot of late Nibirus in this match, that's for sure. They're gonna go to main phase 1, normal summon this Harvester, and then they're gonna use Harvester's effect for Tunneler, and then they're going to pitch the Tunneler for this Anger Knuckle, and then they're gonna go and banish the Tunneler to recycle everything but Citadel. That's gonna put them back and then draw 2. So they're gonna draw into Urgent Schedule and Gearbox. So that's pretty poor, actually. Those are some bad draws. That definitely also messes up the plan here for sure. But it might also simplify things, depending on how you look at it. Regardless, we're going to see a hard-made Zeus thanks to the modulation of Harvester plus the Bullet Train via Harvester's effect. So Zeus is going to hit the board, and then Dozer is going to go and tribute away this copy of Anger Knuckle. That's going to summon itself to the field, and then going to summon out the Trencher from deck, and then gonna choose to fire off Nibiru at this point, and then going to no, he's asking if he didn't use Zeus. Yeah, he definitely just used Zeus to get rid of the back row. You can if you want. I probably should. All right, good guy Aerosol. All right, the token is 85.75. Give me the pretty token. And then going to go for Overdrive here. This has been a very long match. Going to recycle back Zeus, Trencher, and the Tunneler here. That's going to draw into Dozer. Putting the token in the tap position, actually. Pretty interesting. Going to go ahead and set... Oh, okay, yeah. He was trying to lure Grand Soil into attacking the Nibiru. That way he could normal summon the Metal Cruncher. Without like having to crash it himself. Yeah, but Grand Soil reading it correctly and just choosing not to do it. End phase is going to go Bullet on Harvester and then going to pass. So Urgent Schedule could come up here. Plus there's Nibiru, so he's most certainly not dying, or most likely not dying. Going to draw a Dairy Crane for turn. This has been a very good match here. Just want to see how long it is. 79 minutes so far. It's quite a long one. I imagine this video is pretty long. Yeah, oh my gosh, this is already 43 minutes. Did not expect that. Going to go and... Oh, the token is not 85.75. I lied. I don't remember what got attributed, I'm not going to lie. So it was... Okay, they established it was 3K, 3K. So I'm just going to assume that that's correct without looking back and just trying to backtrack. But we are going to see normal summon of Metal Cruncher. And the Metal Cruncher is going to go and reveal 3, draw into a copy of the Bullet Train, and then going to special summon out the Bullet Train, and then that triggers the Dairy Crane in hand. That's going to special summon itself, and then going to go for a copy of Dora, and then going to activate the effect of the double-headed Anger Knuckle engrave to send away the Metal Cruncher here, and then going to pass. We're going to see Nibiru being fired off at the end of main phase, and then Dora going to be used in response, targeting itself. And then token is at 15-0. And then going to go for Bullet in the end phase on Metal Cruncher. Yeah. So yeah, Aristotle doesn't really have access to like his starters, like no, like the starter being Harvester, because that would be like a lot simpler to get back into Brutal Dozer because he has no Dozer access at the moment. So yeah, like he's kind of playing with the wonkier half of his deck, and he never got access to, of course, River Stormer since Grand Soil used the Citadel at that point, which is why it mattered there. Enfei is going to use the Urgent Schedule. That's going to go for the Anchor Drill plus Tunneler. And then going to pass, draw a copy of Ash Blossom. Yeah, Grand Soil looks to be pretty far ahead. He has to just deal with one negate, or one pop, rather. Going to go for Dozer. That's going to tribute away the Anchor Drill, summoning itself. Chooses not to go for the second effect. And then going to go for the River Stormer. Stormer effect is going to be activated. That's going to go for Dairy Cream. So yeah, I wonder what he's going to make if he opted not to lock himself into Earth Machines with Dozer effect. Going to go for Trencher. That's going to summon back the Drill. And then Drill effect is going to summon from hand the copy of Box. And then Drill effect is going to level modulate. And then we are going to see Dora in response, or on resolution, either way works. He's going to use the effect of Dairy Crane to pop the Nibiru. And then going to vote for Dingirsu. Effect to attach, that's going to attach the Trencher. That's another extender, which is quite good. And I'm going to go for Goliath here. Kind of side system down next tournament. Yeah, there was a lot of Earth Machines in this particular tournament, which is pretty interesting. I won't spoil much for the 9th edition of the tournament, but the numbers definitely are different, I will say. We are going to see, I believe that was Stormer bringing itself back, and then now going to go for a copy of Goliath here. And then going to go for the Harvester normal summon. That's going to search a copy of Dozer. And then going to link those off for a copy of the Ballista. And then Ballista is going to be activated up. Oh, Ballista and Goliath are going to be activated. Whoa. Dueling Book just died. All right, there we go. Gonna go ahead and resolve the... Oh, yeah, the box is under Dingirsu. I was like, that's why I was checking the graveyard there, because I was confused, since I was like, wait, when did the box get recycled? But, you know, it was underneath the Dingirsu. Yeah, so it's just the Goliath effect there. Knuckle effect, sending away the Ballista, summoning itself back, and then gonna go for Tunneler, recycling all the links, plus Harvester and 2 Dozers. So that's going to draw into Call by Heavy Forward. Forward effect for Harvester. And then going to attach this Heavy Forward to Dingirsu. That is 5 materials on Dingirsu. So this is going to be a 6-mad Zeus, since Zeus was recycled off of the Overdrive earlier. Going to go Battle Phase, attack over the token. And then 6-mad Zeus. You love to see that. Going to go and summon Zeus at Call by and pass. So going to be very hard to beat here. Draws Trencher for turn. We're going to see the Dora being switched to attack position, and then at the end of main phase 1, going to use the Anger Knuckle here. Going to send itself to summon back the Bullet Train, and then going to attack over the Zeus. That is going to, imagine, prompt the Zeus. And then we go like also Chain Call by to get rid of the Fortress, which is quite strong. Or we're going to get rid of Metal Cruncher. Yeah, because Cruncher is known to be in hand. That's actually smarter. Yeah, that's quite good. You also could have maybe like ashed the Metal Cruncher and then like just denied the Fortress anyway, but I don't think it's going to matter here. I'm pretty sure that Grand Soil has this game. Gonna go for Anger Knuckle. That's going to pitch the Metal Cruncher to bring itself back. And then gonna summon out Fortress instead of the Anger Knuckle. And then going to go ahead and use a Trencher as fodder for the Anger Knuckle instead. And then gonna pass on this. End phase, gonna use the Zeus. And Bullet effect, gonna add back Box. And then gonna trigger the box if there's targets. And there are, so gonna go for Trencher. And this should be the end of the game. Gonna go and draw Heavy Forward for turn. Trencher, banish itself to summon out Anchor Drill. Anchor Drill, summon out Dozer from hand, no second effect. Gonna go for Harvester, normal summon, that's gonna add a copy of Dozer. Just getting more cards at this point. Gonna go for Goliath, and then going to tribute for Stormer to bring itself back, and then equip the Goliath with its effect, and then Stormer effect to add Fortress, and then going to go for the Anchor Drill to modulate for 9. That's gonna go for Slicer, and then Slicer plus Zeus plus the Citadel that's going to be brought back off the Earth Slicer, popping the Stormer should be game. And then trigger Derek in the process, because why not? And then it's just going to flex a bit here. Going to go for Dora, and then Libe, and then Battle Phase. Nib from deck. Broken. All right, that's going to be the end of the match, though. So Grand Solar going to be taking this one 2-1. That was it. That was an extremely long match. That was an hour and 44 minutes. My goodness. Pretty good semifinals for sure. But yeah, we're now going to move on into the finals, which is going to be Grand Solar on Earth Machine versus Kinda Sleepy on Dinosaur. So let's get started with this finals without further ado. Hopefully my voice doesn't die on me by this point. It should be fine. But we are going to see Dino going to be... I'm not sure if they chose to go first, or... Yeah, they did choose to go first here, actually. So yeah, opening hand for Dino going first is going to be Ash, Imperm, Pankratops, Mystic Mine, and Lost World. That is a hard brick, rough. And then the opening hand for Grand Solar going second is going to be Overdrive, Ash, Tunneler, Gearbox, and Forward. So this hand is not great, because it has box in it, but has a starter, so it's fine. There's a combo where you can mitigate the hard drawn box, so it's okay. I guess Impairment Pass. Could have also left it in hand, because that, I guess, plays around Cosmic Cyclone, since it's like the same thing if you keep it in hand, basically, but shouldn't make a big difference. Draws a copy of Harvester, which is going to be normal summoned here. That's going to be impermed, but they have a heavy forward here to search. But that's going to be negated by Ash. So just like that, this is actually not too bad for Dino, although they have to contend with Overdrive Ash. Gonna go for Goliath, and then gonna activate Tunneler effect, summoning itself, and then gonna go for another copy of Goliath. And then Battle Phase, gonna attack for 1,000. And then Main Phase 2, gonna set Overdrive, and then pass. They're gonna draw a Misk for turn, so that's not bad. It's a normal summon for Lost World trigger, which is decent. Also, Pankratops is now live, which is pretty good. They're gonna activate Lost World, and then summon this Pankratops. And then Lost World is gonna be activated. They're gonna trigger the Overdrive here, because if you don't, then you can't target your own monsters while the tokens face up, so you have to do it now. Going to pop the Goliath, and then summon out Metal Cruncher. And then Metal Cruncher gets the trigger here. That's going to reveal 2 Harvesters and a Fortress. Picks up Harvester here. I wonder what would have happened if he got the Fortress there, because that would have not been great. Because definitely needs a starter for next turn. Pankratops effect is going to try to pop the token, and Lost World Protect, popping the baby, and then going to go and Ash the baby there. And then they're going to activate Mystic Mine, and then pass. I wonder if Grand Solar has an out to this in the main deck. We're going to see a Citadel top deck. Going to go and link away for Link Rebo. So that's a pretty interesting inclusion. That's for the Lost World token, I assume. Oh yeah, Citadel cannot be normaled. Yeah, that guy cannot be normal summoned or set. But yeah. Still going to go for the normal summon of Ancient Gear box, and then going to go for the BOS link of his own. So both Aerosol and Grand Solar are playing the BLS link. Going to pass on this. They're going to draw a Gamma for turn. Grand Solar does deck out first. So it's a matter of if Dino considers there to be like an out in the main deck, and if he feels like the pressure to try and win before them. Overdrive is going to go and recycle 2 Goliath and box, and then going to draw into Forbidden Droplet. Oh, actually, you know, it looks like Grand Solar is going to deck out first, but Tunneler can eventually recycle back 5 main deck monsters and then draw 2. So that will add 3 to the total. Yeah, so yes, Dino actually does have the pressure to end the game quickly, because Earth Machine can actually just put more cards into the deck. We're going to see a top deck Archosaur for turn. Gonna pass, draws Ash, gonna pass, draws Imperm, sets it, passes, draws Fortress, gonna pass, draws Fossil Dig, gonna pass on this, gonna go for Droplets, passes, draws Lost World, gonna activate Fossil Dig for Baby, maybe he decides to play here. Yeah, gonna go for Lost World, and then gonna activate the hand effect of Misk, and then the grave effect of Misk for 1, chooses to let that resolve. Gonna go for Archosaur, and then Archosaur and Lost World gonna trigger. That's going to go ahead and pop baby in some of the token. Search a copy of pill. Maybe he chooses to ash the baby here. Nope, chooses to let that resolve. Gonna go for Overraptor. That's gonna add a copy of Petite. And then going to normal summon Petite, and then pop it with Overraptor to summon back the Pankratops. And then Petite effect, gonna summon a copy of the Miscellaneousaurus. And then going to use Pank, that's gonna pop the Overdrive, which is going to not have a target. Even if there was one, there's a Lost World token anyways. Trying to go for game here. Gonna normal summon Archosaur. Yeah, the Petite was normal summon already. So going to instead link away for Hcabe and Secure Gardner. And then gonna overlay for Dulka. And then going to go for Pill. That's gonna summon out UCT. And then battle phase. Starter battle phase, gonna go for Hcabe. They're gonna chain Dulka and negate it. And then gonna go for the attack over the BLS, but Droplet is going to actually negate and have the attack of UCT in the damage step by getting rid of this heavy forward. So that's just going to be it. That's going to be the end of game 1. So Mystic Mind gameplay didn't pan out here, and Grand Sola takes game 1. So now we're going to move into game 2, where Dino is going to elect for Earth Machine to go first. And the opening hand for Earth Machine going first is going to be Redeployment, Lancia, Cosmic, Derricrane, and Trencher. So good hand for sure. Has the full combo. And then the opening hand for Dino going second is going to be Pankratops, Fossil Dig, Baby Ceratosaurus, Gamma, and a Psychic Soldier that rides in a battle against security forces on Currents of Lightning using an autonomic amplifier called Psyframe. Glad it made an appearance in the finals here. But yeah, it has a hand trap for going second, so could actually be very, very good. Gonna go Redeployment to pitch Trencher. That's going to add a copy of Metal Cruncher and Fortress. And then going to normal summon the Metal Cruncher here. And then get a chain block with the Derricrane. That's very solid, so that's going to add a copy of the Brutadozer to hand. And then from here, going to link those off for a copy of Ballista. And then Ballista effect is going to be negated by Gamma. That's going to summon itself and Driver, negate and destroy the Ballista. Do you go for Fortress here? Like you can Fortress, pitch itself and Dozer, summon itself. And you like go Trencher, bring back Dozer, but that doesn't trigger the Dozer effect because it wasn't summoned from hand. Not sure if you commit here for just pass. Gonna set Cosmic and then pass. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Lancia Cosmic is pretty decent. Gonna draw a Misk for turn. Gonna use the effect of Misk in hand at main phase 1. And then going to go and use Lancia there in response. Fossil Dig is going to be used next for Archosaur. Arch Baby is a pretty good combo. Going to go for the effect. It's going to pop Baby for Pill. And then Baby effect is going to summon a copy of Overraptor from the deck. And that's going to add another copy of Overraptor. And then they're going to use the effect of the Overraptor on field, popping the Archosaur to bring back the Misk. And they're going to overlay for a copy of Shaconite and Trident. Battle phase is going to attack and then going to go for Zeus. Pretty interesting. Choosing to go for this over like Dulka. I guess that's fair. They're gonna pass in this. They draw another copy of Lancia. Yeah, this is not very good here for Earth Machine. They're gonna pass again. Draw phase. They're gonna drop Zeus. That way they dismiss a Misk Engrave, but another Lancia. And then we're gonna see a normal summon of Overraptor. That's gonna add a copy of another Overraptor from deck to hand. So just getting all the Overraptors out of the deck. Gonna go and attack for 48, and then in main phase 2, you're gonna pass. We're gonna see a top deck to Bullet Train. So hey, that's actually decent because that is what you want to pitch for the Fortress, so you can like Dozer it away. But there's a Zeus here, so I don't think that's gonna be enough. And yeah, that's gonna be a concession. So we're gonna move on into a game number 3, which will be the final game of this pretty long video actually. So Dino is gonna choose to, Earth Machine is going to choose to go second and make Dino go first. The opening hand for Dino is going to be Double Archosaur, Miscellaneousaurus, Lost World, and the Psychic Soldier that rides in a battle against the security forces and Currents of Lightning using an autonomic amplifier called Psyframe. Oh, drawing that twice in the finals, that's a rough one. This is not a very good hand either. Yeah, this is pretty rough. It's kind of playable. Like you can put up You can definitely put up like at least a Pankratops, just kind of like by my count. You can also go for, actually no, you can go UCT Pankratops with this hand, I'm pretty sure. Unless if I'm like completely just like miscalculating something. But I'm pretty sure you can enter that with this hand. So it's actually not too bad. And then the opening hand for Earth Machine is going to be Droplet, Urgent Schedule, Dozer, Ghost Ogre, and Tunneler. So Urgent Schedule has to resolve pretty much because the rest of the hand's not that great. But if it does resolve, then this hand is extremely explosive. Ogre is pretty interesting to see here post side. Gonna go for Archosaur, not even going for Lost World actually. That's going to pop the Misk to add a copy of Pill. And then gonna link away for Almirage and then go for Pill. So that's gonna banish Driver. Interesting. So gonna go for UCT. This is to play around Nibiru. I see. Yeah. I was like, why didn't they go for Secure Gardner? But yeah, it's to play around Nibiru. Yeah, so gonna go and summon out Baby off of Misk for 2 in main phase. And then in end phase, the Baby is gonna trigger. That's going to summon out Oviraptor, and then going to go for another copy of Oviraptor. So you didn't choose to go for Pankratops there, which I guess makes sense if you like want to make sure you have follow-ups, which is reasonable. But yeah, if they went Archosaur 1, Almirage 2, Secure Gardner 3, UCT 4, and then Misk for Baby as 5, then that leads us to Nibiru, whereas this doesn't, so sucks to lose the Driver. Well, it doesn't suck that bad to lose the Driver, but it's unfortunate to lose a card when you technically could have done it for free. But this is also like just fair enough if you want to make sure you just have plays for next turn. Just gonna pass on this. They're gonna draw redeployment, so scratch what I said earlier. This hand's fine even if Urgent Schedule doesn't resolve. They're gonna go for redeployment. That's gonna go and pitch Tunneler to add Metal Cruncher and the Fortress. They're then going to normal summon Metal Cruncher and then use the effect, revealing Citadel, Bullet Train, and Dairy Crane. And then gonna go for Bullet Train. That definitely is not public knowledge. I don't know why I thought it was public knowledge earlier. Like, I'm just thinking about it now. And wow. It says, sorry, I need to go. It's an emergency. Do you have a hand trap? Says Grand Soil. Says no. And it says, then it's my game anyways. All right, so let's see if he plays it out. Yeah, it's Droplet for UCT anyways. Yeah. Droplet, enter Blacknir, banish Tyranno, and that should be game. Then summon rank 10 for 2k damage, and then Libe. Summoning Guister max. So let's see him play it out. Oh, cool, he does play it out. Nice. Urgent Schedule, then going to change Droplet, sending away the Urgent Schedule and Ogre. So that's going to negate Almirage and UCTs. So I'm glad that this, even though he had to go for an emergency, that Grand Soul is playing it out just to demonstrate that he had game here. So that's cool. And negate Almirage and UCT. Gonna go for the classic Harvester plus Trencher combo. Gonna go for Goliath, and then link away for Ballista. Triggering Ballista for Box, which triggers the Box for the Anchor Drill, because this can be pitched for Fortress and then be brought back off the Trencher. You could also bring back the Harvester here. Many different lines. Gonna go Trencher to bring back the Harvester. Harvester effect, adding Dozer. And then you can go Fortress here, pitching itself in the box, and you can like level modulate here. Go for 9. Gonna go for Slicer, and then Slicer. You're gonna pop these two probably. Yeah, pop Tyranno and Ovi, and then go for Dozer, and then Dozer effect, summon out Trencher. Overlay for Stormer. Yeah, here is Bullet Train. So go for the Dairy Crane. Turn this into Goliath. Summon, activate, go for a rank 10 game. All right, cool. So that is going to be a definitive win for Earth Machine, for sure. You don't even have to turn this into Goliath, but yeah, you get the point. Yeah, super solid. So congrats to Grand Soil for winning with Earth Machine. I actually did not expect that the Dino player would have to go because of an emergency, but hopefully things went out well for them. I'm assuming they did, or at least they were managed all right, because they actually are playing in this current tournament, so that's good. But yeah, this is pretty solid for sure. That's one of the many ways to put out a lot of damage on board. See you on the next turn, when he says. All right, and that's a pretty proper wrap up to this 1 hour and 4 minute video. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me with the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.